Hey Grownups, I have something exciting to share with you. There's a brand new kids podcast out now that I think you're going to love. It's called Mysteries About True Histories. This show is perfect if you love adventures, solving riddles, and maybe even some wacky math problems. But I need a little help from some new friends to tell you more. Max and Molly, take it away.
From the creators of Who Smarted, Starglow Media, comes a brand new podcast called Mysteries About True Histories.
Does that sound serious enough?
Max, we only have 30 seconds for this promo. Just tell them how your mysterious aunt recruited us into a secret order of problem solvers who travel time and have epic adventures.
I don't have to. You just did.
Catch new episodes of Mysteries About True Histories every Thursday on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hi, I'm Leonie, and this is Gale Tales.
Before we get started, I'd like to send some very special shout-outs to Winter and Maya Webster in Lincoln, Massachusetts. And I'd like to wish a very happy birthday to Piper. Piper, Maya, and Winter, thank you all so much for listening to Girl Tales. Grownups, if you would like to hear your child's name at the top of our next tale, head to patreon.com/girltales and donate today. Now on to our episode. This is Battle of the Jams. Enjoy! I'd like to tell you about a friend of mine. Well, two friends of mine, actually. Sasha the goat and her best friend, Trevor the troll. You might remember that Trevor and Sasha met when Sasha was on a school field trip. They bonded over the way people were scared of them and how they put up scary fronts in order to protect themselves from getting hurt. As well, of course, over their deep love of blackberry jam. Now, you may have heard the expression, "that really gets my goat," in reference to how people associate anger with goats. Maybe it's something about the headbutting that gives off that impression. But Sasha is not gruff or angry, and I haven't seen her headbutt anyone in years. Now, trolls are assumed to be pretty gruff themselves, and there's as much truth in that as there is in that everyone I know is capable of having big feelings, especially on bad days. Lucky for both Sasha and Trevor, they have each other, and when they are having bad days, all it takes is for them to come together, talk it out over a cup of tea or an afternoon of cooking up some blackberry jam. Which is, of course, a benefit to all of us in freshwater, because their blackberry jam is the most scrumptious, tangy, sweet, and flavorful jam I have ever had. So while big feelings can be overwhelming and often scary, I really envy that both Trevor and Sasha have such a sweet way to resolve it all. Or get unjammed, you might say. One day, Sasha saw a poster for a jam-making contest, and she knew that she and Trevor would have to enter this contest. It was called the Battle of the Jams. The rules were to bring your best jam to the contest and share it with the fans. Each fan was described as having the best taste in jams, and the winner was going to be decided by a vote from those with the best taste. When Sasha was describing it to Trevor, he couldn't help but imagine winning the contest and coming back to freshwater a hero with their new championship jam. They would have to make a new flavor that could be extra special for this event. But what could they put in the jam to make it even better? The best friends got to brainstorming. What did people love so much that would make their jam an obvious winner? They started with their favorite things. Blackberries, duh. Long hikes. Grass is one of Sasha's favorite things, but Trevor wasn't certain people wanted a blackberry grass jam. Trevor had rocks on the top of his list, but similarly, they weren't sure that was going to be the best pairing with blackberries. They both loved bridges and hikes and flying kites on windy autumn days. which led them to looking outside and seeing how it actually was a windy autumn day. And then they spent 2 hours flying their favorite kites around Trevor's bridge. And after that, they were so tired from flying kites, they didn't feel up to cooking. So they agreed they'd come back the next day and start again. The next morning, Sasha came galloping down under Trevor's bridge, and she had a basket full of the fruits that were grown on McDonald's farm. Sasha didn't know what was going to make their jam better than any other jam, but she knew they'd have to try as many options as they could. Strawberries, blueberries, gooseberries, cactus, apples, and a couple of things Sasha was not sure about yet, but thought they would at least try. Artichokes, garlic, and ghost peppers that Farmer McDonald grew in his greenhouse. They got to cooking. Everything they made was amazing. I know because Pippa and I were invited over to do the taste tests. And I will tell you, what a fun afternoon. I brought over a fresh loaf of bread and we ate jam into the evening, laughing and celebrating how fantastic blackberries are. They go with everything. But Trevor and Sasha were not satisfied, even though the jam was getting better every time they made a new one. They just didn't feel like it was special enough. What could they add into the jam that would ensure it was a winner? So they started to add the ingredients they weren't as sure about. Garlic and blackberry, not my favorite. But Trevor was a big fan. Artichoke and blackberry made Sasha happy. I think because it tasted the most like grass. And mushroom and blackberry really didn't please anyone. The last ingredient left were the ghost peppers. The peppers were a bright orange with a small green stem, and they even smelled spicy. One whiff gave your nostril hairs a slight singe. That worried everyone. None of us really liked spicy things, and anything as booish to be named ghost peppers put us especially on edge. We all passed on the idea of adding peppers to the jam. What were Sasha and Trevor going to do? Everything in Trevor's home under the bridge was covered in sticky jam. Sasha's usual clomping around was now more of a squish and a squash with so much jam on her hooves. And Trevor had turned almost totally purple. We all were too tired to keep going, so Pippa and I said our goodbyes. As we were leaving, I saw Sasha cooking up all the recipes again to make sure they'd have enough of whichever one they decided on. I wasn't sure at the moment because I was so tired, but I swore I saw, as she was cooking up each batch, a little flash of orange was getting thrown into each of the big jam pots. But, of course, at that point, I couldn't be sure what I was seeing. The next day was the day of the competition, and even though Sasha and Trevor had almost 10 different amazing jams, neither of them were totally satisfied that any was the absolute winner. Without making the final decision, they packed them all up and traveled to the contest. The contest was being held at a big concert hall 3 towns over in the town, Greatwater. When the 2 best friends got to the event, there was a line out the door of people waiting to get in. Most of the people in line were carrying big, pointy bags, almost shaped like guitars, and things that looked like speakers. No one in line looked like jam chefs, so both Trevor and Sasha figured this must be the taste testers advertised on the flyer Sasha saw. They were described as the fans with the best taste, but Sasha and Trevor were now calling them the taste testers because they liked the sound of this better. Trevor had an idea, but it was a little bit sneaky.
Hey, Sasha, what if we got some of the people in line to try a few of these jams? Certainly offering them a little bit of the jam, they'd help us decide which one was best to enter into the contest.
But Trevor, that would be swaying the judges. Wouldn't it?
No, of course not. We'll just offer it to them because they look so hungry, and then we can see which jam they try and which jams they go back to try for more.
Sasha knew it was kind of a great idea. They both moved toward the line of hungry tasters with jams in hand. Quickly, everyone in the crowd was gathering around Sasha and Trevor, trying to get their hands on as much jam as they could. I told you it was some of their best work so far. Everyone in the line was eating so much of the jams that neither Sasha nor Trevor could tell which ones they liked the most. And they were eating all of it so fast. So fast that the friends didn't notice all of the people turning red. Everyone was eating so much jam without waiting to swallow to try some more, and soon enough, there was coughing and sweating, and a few of them even had tears rolling down their eyes. Suddenly, a whole group of them yelled out for water! Water! Oh no, Sasha had a sneaking suspicion what was happening. She rummaged through her bag for the container of ghost peppers she had taken from McDonald's farm. The container was empty. She must have cooked them into each of the demo jams, and now all of the tasters had mouths that were on fire. The contest was about to start, and not only did they still not have the best jam to pick from, but everyone who was supposed to be judging their work was running all around, away from the concert hall, looking for a water source. Some of them were lined up at water fountains, and a few had found a fire hydrant that they opened up to have water pour all over them. Trevor swore he could see steam rising from those getting doused by the hydrant. A moment later, the doors to the event opened, and the contest coordinator came out to announce how contestants could sign up. But to their surprise, no one was in line any longer. They all had disappeared, trying to recover from the heat of ghost pepper jam. The only people standing there were Trevor and Sasha, holding 2 loaves of bread and their final jar of jam. Original blackberry with the extra kick of ghost pepper. The coordinator, a kind woman named Sandy, looked at the empty lot outside the concert hall and then looked at the goat and troll standing there alone.
Hi? Are you here for the contest? Yes!
Sasha and Trevor shouted together. Their enthusiasm masked their embarrassment of possibly poisoning all of the other contestants. Having come all this way, though, Trevor jumped in to try to still get a chance to win the prize.
But we only have 1 jar of jam left, and we accidentally may have put ghost peppers into it. So if you're not into spicy things and this disqualifies us, we absolutely understand, but hope you'll at least try it.
Sandy stopped him there, looking a little confused.
Sorry, did you say blackberry jam? Yes, for the Battle of the Jams contest. We know it's not as special as, say, a blackberry and apple or a blackberry and strawberry, but we kind of just ran out of the other options, so...
Sandy broke out laughing.
Yes, this is the Battle of the Jams contest, but specifically for jam bands? Not fruit jams.
Uh-oh. The Battle of the Jams was for something called jam bands. What was a jam band? Sandy tried to explain. Jam bands are groups of musicians, specifically musicians who do something called jamming, where they played a song for much longer than anyone really wanted to listen to, and they jam out together, improvising off of the music. Trevor and Sasha looked at each other in defeat. After all of that, they hadn't even entered the right contest. Sandy, still not knowing where any of the other contestants were, felt sorry for them.
Well, it looks like we did a poor job of marketing the contest because no one showed up.
Sasha and Trevor didn't make eye contact.
I might as well try some of your jam if you'd let me.
Sasha and Trevor perked up, but not without a little fear. What if this last jar also had ghost peppers in it? And the same thing that happened to all the musicians was about to happen to this very kind contest coordinator. Still, if they didn't try this now, then all of their work might have been a waste. So there was no turning back. Sasha cut a piece of bread, Trevor opened the jar and spread the jam from edge to edge, and they presented it to Sandy like a crown on a pillow. Sasha had a glass of milk ready, just in case everything was about to go wrong. Sandy took a bite. Trevor kept an eye out for the color she might turn, and Sasha looked closely to see if any steam began rising from her head. She chewed, and swallowed. She looked at Sasha, and then at Trevor, and then she spoke. "This might be the most incredible jam I have ever had. And did you say it has ghost peppers in it? Who would have ever thought of that? The spicy and sweet go so perfectly together. I don't think I have ever been lucky enough to try something so wonderful. May I have more? I love spicy food." The best friends were overjoyed. Sasha would later tell me she thinks she saw a few tears rolling down Trevor's chin as he spread an even bigger helping of jam on the next piece of bread. Sasha and Trevor did not win the Battle of the Jams that day. Well, no one did. Unfortunately, the contest had to be postponed. They did make a new friend, though, Sandy. She still comes over to Trevor's house under the bridge to eat jam on bread with them. And they did one day tell her it was not her fault that no one came to the contest. They hoped she wouldn't be mad. And of course she wasn't. She actually thought it was hilarious and thinks of it fondly as the day she made 2 great friends. Sometimes I walk by Trevor's bridge and hear them all laughing as they cook up new jams and gather around Trevor's mantle, where sits prominently a gold first-place trophy for the Battle of the Jams, with the word "bands" scratched out in purple pen. That was Battle of the Jams by Harry Poster, produced by Chad Chenail, performed and executive produced by me, Rebecca Cunningham. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on Amazon Music or wherever you get your podcasts. Girl Tales is a Cordelia Studios production. And Grownups, don't forget you can get access to ad-free episodes of the Girl Tales podcast, as well as a range of other shows for the kids in your life by subscribing to Star Glow Plus on Apple Podcasts. Grownups, if you would like extra stories for your Tailblazers to listen to, like the original Alice's Adventures in Wonderland or The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, performed by me, well, there's only one place to get it. Head to patreon.com/girltales and join Team Dorothy or above. And Grownups, you can also find Girl Tales and Cordelia Studios on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And hey, if you loved this story, share it with a friend. Oh, and remember, I believe in you.